Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. It is September the 8th, and we have only a couple more days before Mpulse Summit. It will be in Charlotte, North Carolina. When is it? September the 27th through the 29th, and we are super excited because it is Restore 25. I am your visionary founder, Micheline Barber of Mpulse Summit. This is our 7th year, and we want to personally invite you to join this live and to join us in Charlotte, North Carolina. Your 225 said it's time to reveal, revive, and restore. Will you join us September 27th through the 29th for a 3-day experience? A 3-day experience, one that has never been seen before. It's restoration time. We have so many different events that we are going to be having, such as the off-site event, which is our BOG, our Boots on the Ground. We come back and we have our Popcorn with Purpose, then our PPB early morning. We have the Sunday Post worship praise service with none other than Pastor Major Jones. We have our Men on Pause, Cream Gala Awards, and the release, something you cannot afford to miss. Mpulse Summit is a 3-day education experience that will restore you spiritually, personally, and professionally. I always say it is, will you be in the room for these educational sessions, main stage workshops, interactive hands-on classes, the industry mixer, the insightful lifestyle panels, the Cream Gala, and much more. These things are going on September 27th through the 29th. Now, let me say this. We are looking for our professionals, and we are looking for our future professionals. So they can come for 1 day for $75 or 2 days for $99. Both of them come with a swag bag. We are the future. So if you're looking, or if you know someone that's a future professional, let's get them in the building. Now, we're saying if you want to get in a room and you have to be at Mpulse Summit, you say, I want to take classes. And I may not want to go to the rest of the things, but you want to take classes, you can do so for a very special rate at $299. That's network, nightly lock-in, Sunday Post, spiritual enrichment gathering, intimate classroom settings, workshops, and more for only $299. Now, something amazing has happened for the last couple of years, and that is our match bonus. We have individuals that said, I want to match them or cover the incentive for them to come to Mpulse Summit. And these are our core specialists, our branding ambassadors, different people that says, I want to be a part of what Mpulse Summit is doing, and I'm going to match them. So this is the match money that we're saying, hey, we know that it may be a little hard and difficult to come, but Mpulse Summit wants you there, and this is how you're going to get there. Now, if you're interested in this, just simply message us, inbox us. Let us know that you want to be there. This is such a special, amazing thing that so many of our core specialists have put together, our partners, our sponsors that said, I know for a fact there's someone that needs this incentive. It's someone that I can match. It's someone that I can cover to get them to Mpulse Summit. And that's what they're doing. If that's you, inbox us, message us and say, I need to be at Mpulse Summit. What do I need to do? Of course, planting a seed in the ground is always letting you know that you can be there. I'm going to say this. Mpulse Summit, Restore. There is something in the atmosphere that's letting you know that it is a Joel moment. And it is a moment where God is going to restore, rebuild, and revive, and restore the things that we are looking for. We just have to understand what season that we are in. I know this gentleman that's about to come to the seats of Impulse Summit, because he's been with us for 7 years straight. But what I do need you to do at this moment is to tag someone, tell someone, and follow this page to let them know that, hey, Micheline has a very special guest that's going to be on here, that's going to break down restoration, going to break down what it means for you to actually live in your life and live through faith. This gentleman has been with us, and he is the overseer for Impulse Summit, one that has believed in it from day one, way before I even knew what God had in store. Y'all, please welcome to the seats of Impulse Summit, the Restore Now, the Overseer of Impulse Summit, my pastor from Life Point Church right here in Tampa, Florida, none other than that amazing man of God, Pastor Major C. Jones II.
Hey, everybody. Hope y'all doing
Hello.
good. Hey, Mitch.
Listen,
How
Pastor,
are you?
I told them I'm good. I told them they got to put their seatbelts on. So I'm going to say this. For those who are about to join us on this live, if you come across this live later on, you're gonna have to have two things for sure. No, three things. You gotta have your ears open, because he's gonna say stuff so fast. You know, you gotta make sure you have your paper and your pen, because this is something I have every Sunday when I'm sitting in the pews. I want to write down everything, and this book is full of all the stuff that he said. You know, from Genesis to Revelation. I would say that we have had so many talks, and so tonight, this is the road to restoration. You have been with us for 7 years. 7 years you have been with us, and
Yep.
from the very beginning, you said yes. Just tell them a little bit about who you are, exactly the different roles that you have taken on now in your life, because you know you're traveling now. I got to make sure I got to be able to get to you, which I do, and I love the fact that you're a very humble spirit with everything that you're doing. So tell
Yeah.
exactly who you are, Pastor Major Jones.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Mitch. It is indeed a joy and has been a joy to walk with you for the last several years, 7+ now to be exact. But hey, everybody, it's so good to be in this space with you and me and you and us and y'all and everybody. I love you all. And I couldn't wait to get on, shift some things around just so that we could be here, to ensure that we were here in this space. And so I want to take a moment to, just for those of you that don't know me, my name is Pastor Major Jones, Pastor Major C. Jones to be exact. I am the spiritual overseer for Impulse Summit. But beyond that, I am the pastor of Life Point Church, the founding pastor of Life Point Church. Since I think we've last come together, I've been elevated into areas of service. I now cover other pastors. So I learned how to do that, believe it or not, by covering you at Impulse Summit. Because again, I've been a little bit over a year now, around about a year. But nonetheless, I'm just grateful that I've had the opportunity to be with you and walk with you. I am what you call a district superintendent of 2 districts. So I have 2 different areas, or people rather, that I cover in various areas of Florida. And then I also now have the opportunity of mentoring young men from across the world, from the ages of 13 to about 30. And that has also happened since we've been with you. And that is called the Young Men of Valor. But I'm just grateful, extremely excited. I've made a promise to God, I made a promise to Micheline, and I made a promise to the staff that no matter where I went or what I did or what I said yes to, I would never say no to this summit, because of the fact that I'm not just covering you, I am you. I'm a part of who you are. And so, as I've said in years past, I cover you daily in my prayers. There are certain prayers that I pray, and I would encourage you to, as she said, grab some pens and paper and whatever you need to grab. We're going to take a little journey. We're going to travel a road, but I want you to not focus as much on the destination as you do on the journey. It's going to be a good journey. We're going to be able to see some signs and see mile markers that will show us that we're closer than we thought we were. So just get excited. I'm excited. Tag a few people. Do me a favor, maybe 4 or 5 people that you know of that might be able to utilize a moment like this. It's going to be a moment of replenishing, restoration, and resuscitation. So tell them to come on in. We're going to talk tonight. We're going to have some critical and crucial conversations, but I guarantee you, you'll be able to understand that it is all for a cause. I'm ready, Mitch.
All right. So a long time ago, you were preaching, pastoring, and you said the word "re," and you broke down what that meant. That was been many, many
Hmm.
years ago, and I wrote that down. And
Hmm.
it just kept coming back, resonating back in,
Hmm.
especially this season right here. So at the beginning,
Hmm.
I'll tell you, God tells me what to call it. Then I, confirm and I pray, and then I talk to you about it. I say, well, Pastor, what does this mean? Break it down to
Hmm.
me, and you'll break down believe, and you'll break down stretch, and you'll break, and then every
Hmm.
year we start seeing it everywhere, which is a confirmation as to what God is speaking
Hmm.
in us. This year at the beginning, He said re, and I'm like, re, conference call re, and then a little later
Hmm.
on, God said restore.
Hmm.
Tell us about that, because I called you and you broke it down to me about the whole restoration and the whole restore
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
And then it made me think about what we're going through, not just in the beauty industry, but just as people, period. What does
Hmm.
that, when I came to you and said that, you broke it down to me?
So when we consider restore, I like to go to the root of the word, because the root has to be strong enough so that the fruit can uh, be strong enough. So in order for us to discover what the word restore is, we can't look at the fruit of restoration without looking at the root of restoration. So when we break down this word restore, you have two things. You have re and you have store. It is a transitive verb. For those of you that are educators, you know exactly what I'm speaking of. But when we speak in terms of restore, to keep it surface, and we'll dig deeper later, it simply means to bring back or to put back into existence or use. And when we think in terms of putting things back, I've got a mouse on my desk, right? If I want to restore that mouse into its proper place, I have to do something. And what I have to do is I have to misplace it in order to replace it.
Mm,
So I have to take it from its original state, move it so that it is out of place in order for me to restore or replace it, put it back where it properly belongs. So whenever we think in terms of we can't have if there hasn't been an original state that something or someone was in. And the challenge with a lot of people, I hope I'm not getting too far out. We're just a couple minutes in here. But the challenge with a lot of people is they have not grown to appreciate being misplaced because they don't think that there's going to be a replacement from what they lost. So whenever we think in terms of restore, restore simply means there was something that was in an original place before. It was moved to a different place, but it is now about to be replaced. I want you to, for those of you that are plugging in already, and you got some pen and paper, I want you to understand that replacement has to come after misplacement.
mm,
Replacement has to come after you ever look, Mitch, and you had your keys, right? You have your keys and you have the key fob to your truck or whatever that looks like, and you're like, man, I put this thing right here, right? And it has been moved or placed in a different, watch this, and placed in a different area. So now you're going to a frantic fit because we're human forming beings. We establish patterns, and those patterns help us navigate through the nuances of life and what our life demands. But whenever I take my key fob and I'm like, oh my God, I start patting my pockets, right? I pat my pockets. I look to the area by my coffee, where I have my coffee area at, because sometimes I kind of use that as a station to park my keys, right? And we're
mm-hmm.
talking about a journey tonight. So if I don't see it in either one of those places, I automatically go into a mode, kind of a pre-panic mode. Why? Because I think, oh my God, I've misplaced my keys. I didn't misplace my keys. I simply had my keys moved to another place. All I've got to do is stop long enough to realize that replacement has to come after misplacement. So either one or two things are going to happen at worst. Either I have to call and pay a little more to get a replacement to what I
Mm.
misplaced, or either I just have to look for what's already in my house. And the challenge with a lot of us is we're trying to go outside of the industry to find what's already in the house. So you've got to take the time to start pulling back the layers. I'm jumping in a little too early, Mitch. I'm sorry. But you
No,
got to pull
listen,
back the
I'm
layers.
right.
We got to pull back the layers. Why? Because sometimes we have a tendency to keep too much stuff in our house that we really don't need. And if we didn't have as much stuff that we've collected over time, and we keep ourselves clear of all of the unnecessary stressors, of all of the unnecessary people, of all of the unnecessary energies, we'll have more focus and more clarity, right? And we'll be able to focus on the things that we really have lost focus of. But I don't want to get too far out. We were talking about restore, and I was thinking in terms of definition and all that. But go ahead, Mitch.
No,
I'm sorry.
that's the look, you're getting hearts because that's what we're talking about. Breaking down in more layman's term, right? When someone can physically
Yeah.
saying, because when you said you in order for you to have a replacement, you got to have a misplacement. I think a lot of times we get a fear of the misplacement, and
Yes.
not knowing that there will be a replacement, but he's saying that it's going to be better, you know,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because of that. Go ahead.
The good thing about that, Mitch, and again, I'm sorry, but the good thing about that is whenever God's hand is in it, God will never give you back exactly what you lost. That would
Mm,
be anti-God. No, no. He says when you plant a seed, by the time you see it again, you have to figure out where in the world this came from. Why? Because when he allows it to return, he says you plant a seed, but you reap a harvest. When you put that seed in the ground, a seed never looks like what it looked like when it left your hand because it leaves your hand, but it never leaves your life. So when it leaves your hand, it goes into the ground in one form, but it has to go through the process of germination. It has to go through the process of cultivation. It has to go through all of these processes. What does that mean, Pastor Major? And how does that equate to where we're going now? Process is the phase where things that are normally well packaged, well put together are broken down. A seed goes into the ground as one unit. But in
mm,
order for what's inside of the seed to grow, the outer shell has to come off. So there has to be a almost a type of death that has to occur. The seed has to die on the outside so that the life that is on the inside can actually spring forth. We've got to be able to endure. What does the seed have to deal with? What are the elements, right? What are the elements that have that have to be in place for the seed to grow? Number one, it has to be hot. Seed grows in heat at its
mm,
best and most strongest rating. There has to be water. Some people feel like, oh my God, I'm drowning in tears. No, you're not. You're growing in grace because there's certain people who've been gifted to do what you do, while there's others who've been graced to do what you do. Meet us at the summit. We're going to talk about that. And then there also has to be some darkness. People who are a part of the area of creativity and innovation, we don't realize, but the joy that we have and the innovation that we have comes from the same element, all right, as people who fall into dark depression. I'm going to be praying a prayer, um, if God would allow me to at this summit, because I've felt I felt the stress and the strain of people who are trying to navigate through this dark season. They don't know what's about to happen, right? So it has to be right. It has to be water. It's got to be heat. It has to be darkness. And the last thing that has to happen is there has to be pressure. In order
mm,
for a seed to grow, it has to be pressured. And people who are under pressure right now are trying to figure out, okay, how do I navigate through the choppy waters of this season that of going through things that I can't even tell nobody about? Because if I tell my clients, they ain't gonna want to come to me no more. Right? If I tell my best friend, they're not going to be no best friend no more. Right? If I share it with the public, they're going to take it and smear it in my face. Right? But God
yes.
desires that you endure this season. It desires that you endure the heat, endure the tears, endure the pressure, endure the darkness. Why? Because when a seed goes down into the ground, A seed goes down into the ground, it goes down in one form. But again, when it comes up again, it comes up as a harvest. Genesis, the Bible says this: as long as the earth remains, there'll be seed time and harvest time. The Bible further elaborates this in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 3. He says, to everything there is a time, a season, and a purpose to everything under the sun. A time to pluck up, a time, watch this. He goes into all of these times and seasons: a time to be born, time to die, time to pluck up, time to plant, time to kill, time to heal, time to break down, time to build up, time to weep, time to laugh, time to mourn, time to gather, right? He gives all of these times. But what we have to do is we have to understand that while I was talking about being gifted in grace, while you might not be gifted like your next person, you've been graced. And when you've been graced, you get things. Watch this. Listen to me closely. When you've been graced, you get things that the average person doesn't get. Like what, Pastor Major? I got it all wrapped up in one word. You get favor that you didn't have to pay for.
Favor.
Favor is the unmerited fingerprint of God that he puts on you. Why? Because you've been graced for it. And while people will walk away from the industry because their gift seems like it's not making room for them the way they anticipated, right? I want you to understand that your grace, the grace that God has allowed to place on your life, is what allows you to stand, right? The gifting, yes, but your grace, I'm going to say this real quick, Mitch, and I just got it. Your gift will allow you to stand before great men. That's the Bible. But the grace that God has given will allow you to not just stand in front of great men, but you'll have a seat at the table with great
Come
men.
on.
Some of
Come
you have
on.
been standing for a long time. That's why you're tired. And God says, I need you to understand that you're not just gifted, you're graced for this. So he says, while you've been trying to stand and understand, meaning stand under all of the dirt, stand under all of the pressure, stand under all of the heat, stand in all of the tears. You've been doing a darn good job of standing, but God says, you know what? Now it's time for you to sit down for a while. Sit down, rest yourself, have a seat. And so we've got to understand how to move from the place of letting ourselves be just gifted only, right? And understand that we've been graced for it. We've been graced for the journey. Go ahead, Mitch. I don't want you to lose
No,
track of where we're going. I'm
no, you're
sorry.
not losing track because all I'm doing is I'm writing down these things because, and I'm also looking at some of the comments of people who are joining. I'm going to say this. Go ahead and share this live with someone that needs to hear a word. Inside the industry, outside the industry, whatever business they're in, if they're your friend, if you care for your friend, if you love your friend, share it with your mama, your daddy. Like I was going to tell them, share it with my mama. I was trying to tag my mama because she absolutely love you. But Jason loves you, my sister loves you. So it's like
I
so
love them too.
many people are holding on to things that have let them go. And
Hmm.
when I say that, the position of when I think about growth, moving from one pot to another, you
Hmm.
got to be able to go from that small pot, because when I had to uproot my plant and move it to a different one, it was able to flourish better. And you're
Hmm.
right. I need to move it by the light, and I need to
Hmm.
water it. So it had to go through pressure. That's the rocks that's at the bottom that's allowing.
Hmm.
So visibly, I can see what you're saying, because the
Hmm.
pressure is real in this season for so many people. And you always been saying pressure breaks pipes, but also it can
Hmm.
develop you in a different position that you need to be as well.
Absolutely.
And that's what I hear you saying.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so the question becomes, how do I know I need to be restored? How do I
Mm.
know I need restoration? Um, the sure way of knowing that you need restoration is you have to have suffered loss. If you haven't lost nothing, then you don't need to be restored. Some of us know, of course, what it's like to lose money and lose opportunities and lose relationships and even lose time. Loss can be sudden, it can be unexpected, it can be painful. Loss leaves us with gaps and emptiness and questions of why me? Why now? Why this? How did it all get to this place? But the good news about God, Mitch, is that, and I'm going to say this, I hope everybody gets it: loss is never God's last chapter. I'm going to say this again. Loss is never. You can't show me in the Bible or anywhere else when God's last chapter was lost. The
Mhm.
same God, and you talked about Job earlier. I'm going to go back to Job. The Bible says that Job was minding his own business.
His own business.
He was not messing with nobody. And the Bible says that the enemy was there and saw God saw the enemy. He was like, "Hey, what you got going on?" He was like, "Oh, I'm just trying to figure out somebody. I'm looking for somebody that I
Right.
can touch." Watch this. I'm gonna help some of y'all that's been rebuking the enemy. Nope. I'm gonna help y'all understand something in just a few seconds here. The Bible says that God brought Job's name up. Wait, I
Yes,
thought
he
God
did.
loves me. I
Yes, he
thought God
did.
loves me. Why? This don't seem like God. No, no, no. God said to Satan, "Have you considered my, watch this, my servant
Mm-hmm.
Job?" And so while some of us have been servicing our customers, some of us have been servicing our friends, our family members, and all of these clients that we have, God brought your name up. You were, listen, some of you think that you were doing something wrong. Some of us, we weren't doing that wrong. God brought our name up. And if God brought our name up, then God must have seen something in us, even in our losses that we didn't see in ourselves. Watch this. Watch what God said. God says, "Have you considered my servant Job?" The enemy responded, "Yep, I have." But guess what? You got a hedge around him. You got a hedge around him. God said, "You know what? I'm going to remove the hedge because I trust in Job so much
Mm-hmm.
that I'm going to bring his name up to be tested in ways that he's never been tested before. But I've got so much belief in Job. Watch this. Because my word is over his life." That's what it means when you're graced for something. That means that you have a word that is over your life that will not return unto God void, but it will go after everything that God sent it to get. Right? Put this in the chat for those of y'all that's on. Put it in the chat. Put it wherever you can. I'm on a journey. I'm on a road. I've got something that I'm after, but I got a word over my life. I've got something that I'm going after. I'm on a journey, but I've got a word over my life. That's the only reason why you're still alive. That's the only reason why you haven't gone under. That's the only and I know your business might not be doing as good as it has done, but the only reason why you are yet here, the only reason why you have not ended your life, I'm talking to somebody tonight, is because there is a word that pulls you from the depths of darkness and shows you just a little bit of hope. There's a word that pulls those tears to the place where they're stopped just for a moment for you to say, "You know what? I might be sowing in tears, but eventually I just feel like something's going to happen. I keep showing up every single day. I can't even tell you why I'm showing up, but I'm showing up because I feel like there's something that's at the end of the turn." No, no, no. You need to understand that God has not allowed you to experience what you've experienced just for you to have what you have. No. God says, "I need you to understand that if you sow in tears," I'm giving y'all Bible tonight. If you sow in tears, if you put in the
You're
work
right.
and do, watch this, if you put in the work and sow the tears, God says, "I don't need you to think that that's the end of your story." Y'all walking out on the end of a sentence, and God says that ain't even the end of the chapter, let alone the end of the story. No, no, there's a story that God has in mind, right? That He has specifically towards you. What do you mean, Pastor Major? God says, "I know the plans that I have towards you." You're trying to figure this stuff out, but I already know it. "I know the plans that I have towards you," said God, "that thoughts of peace and not of evil, to bring you to an expected end." So God says, "I've got an expected end with your name on it, but all I need you to do is just keep on taking the steps. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delights in His way." As we step according to the marked movements of God, we don't waste time, we chase God. And
Come
as
on.
we chase God, He gets us to the place where we need to go. Sometimes it helps if we learn how to utilize blind obedience. In the
Oh,
world are you talking about, Pastor Major? I'm going to help you. Okay. I'm going to help. So, blind obedience says, I don't have to understand it for me to obey it. I don't have to understand all of it. We are very detailed, creative minds. I'm a creative. I say this every year. I'm not in the hair industry, but I am a creative mind. The way I think is a creative. I'm a creative thinker. So when I'm a creative thinker, watch this. I know what it means to create worlds. I know what that means because I don't have to try to figure out how to do it. It's just who I am, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I create this narrative that God never intended for me to create. And by the time God gets back, he's like, what in the world have you created? This ain't what I got. You got, watch this, you got plans for you, but they don't compare to my plans. So I have to lose sight of what I prefer, because if I keep my eyes on what I prefer, then my preferences become the government that leads my life. And I'm not my own. God put me on this earth for him to get the glory out of my life. God gave me the grace gifts that I have, right? In the creative areas that we service. He gave me these gifts. God anointed your hands. God anointed your hands to do lashes. He anointed your hands. He anointed your mind to see styles and to produce makeup, right? And do these. God did that. That's not just something that just happened to be in your family. No, God knew before you were born, right? He knew before you were born what people would need your services. And so what the enemy is going to do, and he continues to do this, right? The same way he did with Job. He tries to strip everything away, right? And he tries to make us think, I'm going to say something. He tries to make us think that our treasure is in our things.
Mm.
No,
Mm-mm.
no, your treasure is not in your stuff or your things. The treasure that you have, brothers and sisters of the industry, is that God has plans, plural. So when you feel like one plan does not work, you can't create a narrative that says maybe this ain't meant for me. No, you got to be willing to search the plans the same way that you studied in school. You listen to me, people. I've never gone to cosmetology school, but you cannot tell me that it's one book for all of the stuff y'all learn. Absolutely
No,
not. You can't tell
no.
me that there's one approach to all of the stuff you do. Absolutely not. But you are more patient and you are more committed to being flexible to learn the different nuances, right? Help me out, Mitch. Whenever you did hair, did you just do I don't even know what they call them no more. The what do they call the little roller things?
Oh, the
The hot press roller, the
the
old school
oh
rollers?
yeah, they're yes, they are Marcel's.
Okay, so the
The Marcel's.
Marcells, is that the one? Is that the one that'll burn you real good if it hit
Yeah,
your head? Is that the one?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah. That's the
again, I don't
Marcel.
know about it. I just saw it, right? So
Right.
you learn about that, right? But is that the only? Y'all help me out. Is that the only technique you learn?
No.
Why? Because whenever you are graced and gifted, you have to learn how to take and turn the globe, see things from a different perspective, and understand that as flexible as you are, as it pertains to your knowledge and your studies, you have to be that flexible, right? And not walk out of the game when one plan doesn't work, when one play doesn't work. No, God says, I know the plans, plural, that I
Plans.
have towards you. And when one plan doesn't work, maybe it simply means that that plan was only good for last year. You got to go back to the playbook and study the plans. Look at the plays in order to win. You can't think that in football, again, they're going to keep seeing, watch this, you're going to keep seeing when the team run the same play over and over and over and over again, right? Because if one team runs one play, then the enemy, watch this, which is the defensive team or the defensive side, they're going to be, watch this, they're going to be on you. Why? Because you become predictable. And
Mm.
when we are passionate and purposeful, you cannot be predictable. Some of you have even closed your mind to the ideas and the plans. I want y'all to pray this prayer. And I was going to save this until the summit, but I want you to pray this prayer. Y'all hear me tonight, loud and clear. Pray this prayer that God will open up your mind, right, to see the things and the plans and the creativity that heaven has in mind for you. Now, that's a heavy prayer. I'm gonna say it again. Pray that God will open your mind to see the plans and the strategies and the formulas and the ideas that heaven has in mind for you. Now, when you pray that prayer, you're gonna have to be flexible because when you pray that prayer, sometimes we like to look at what we do well. We
Mm-hmm.
do. Come on, y'all. We like to look at what we do well. Why? Because that gives us our bragging rights. We have our niche. That's what we're known for, our specialty. But I want you to start looking at the things that you don't do well and ask for an insight from God as to how you can be good at what doesn't feel good. Hear
Come on.
me. How can I become better at the thing that seems like it always catches me at my worst. What can I do to make this weak area become the strongest area? Y'all don't want to talk about that because we only talk about what we do well. But I need you to understand that God is not one dimensional and neither are you. You are a multifaceted being. What do you mean, Pastor Major? Can you explain that? Absolutely, positively, and most certainly. You learn by way of visual, that's being able to see it. You
Yes.
learn by way of technical, that means being able to put your hands on it. You also learn by audible, right? That means I'm able to hear it. So if you are a multifaceted learner, what makes you think you can box yourself in a box of saying, you know what, maybe this ain't it. Maybe I need to walk away. Don't you dare walk away from what the grace of God has ushered you into. You're not like everybody else. God made you differently. He gave you a different imprint. And the reason why he did that is because you are the change. For some of you, you're the change that you've been praying to see. But you've walked away from it. You've put your net down. You threw away the opportunity that you had. Why? Because you're like, okay, well, maybe this is too much. No, it's not too much. We talked about something earlier, Mitch, and you mentioned it, and I wanted to revisit it. But you talked about the pressure and the weight. Most people don't even know what y'all deal with, what we deal with when it comes down to being leaders. Nobody ever understands it. Why? Because we make other people feel good. While in most cases, we feel horrible on the inside.
Yes.
We are normally the leaders, and nobody really takes time to check on the leaders. That's why
Hmm.
this summit is so powerful, because it's not just going to be a time when you learn. The challenge has never been about learning. The challenge is about it's been about making sure that we have the fuel to move forward. You can learn all you want to. Let me help you understand something. When you're learning and when you're, watch this, when you're learning and when you're not moving, that becomes more frustrating. Why? Because you're like, oh, I know I got what it takes, but it seems like I'm not going nowhere. No, we're going to get you from off the side of that road. We're going to get you off of the side of the road. Why? Because you have been anointed. You've been graced to go. The challenge is that you become more focused on the destination, that you stop enjoying the grace of the journey. And God wants you to fall in love with the journey again. That is what this is about. You have to fall in love with your passion. There's going to be a fire that is reignited. Many of
Yes.
us are like cars. I'm sorry, Mitch. I'm in a
No,
vein right now, so just bear
no,
with me.
go, go,
Many of
go,
us are
go,
like
go ahead.
cars. We're like cars that are on the side of the road, right? We're like cars that's on the side of the road. We're good to look at. People's look. They pass by us and they look at us. We're frustrated because we know that we have potential, but there's no action. I'm coming to this summit this year to restore. Cars are no good if they're parked on the side of the road. They have no value. They don't have the same kind of value. Watch this. They don't have the same kind of value because they're not moving. And God didn't put what he put in you for you to be a monument. A monument is a statue that people only pass by and say, oh, it was good when I passed by. Let me go back and see. It's going to be in the same place. I hope you don't think you're going to come to this summit and leave the same way, because God says you're
No.
not going to be a monument. I'm gonna put some fuel back in you, and I'll put you back on the road so that you become movement. That's who you are. That's who you're graced to be. Go ahead, Mitch. I'm sorry.
Listen, we talked about the fuel, and you know what goes to my mind when that day we talked about the gasoline, right?
Hmm.
And how you have to be poured back into it, or you're going to stop. The movement is not there. Share with them about the fuel, the cost of the oil. You know what I'm saying? And because a lot of
Yeah.
times we don't realize the crushing, the pressure it makes the
Hmm.
oil, but it's the value in the oil that's so important. And when we break that down as to what a car needs and what your life needs, you need the
Hmm.
oil. And that
Yeah.
is going into that road of restoration, because when you traveling, the first thing they tell you to do, get your oil changed, right?
Yep.
They tell you to fill
Yep.
your gas tank
Fill
up,
your tank up. Yep.
windshield wiper fluid, get whatever it is that you need. But those are two things that they always say: get your oil
Hmm.
changed and fill your car up. The
Yep.
road to restoration, you're going to need to understand that you got to have that. So, Pastor,
Yeah.
break that.
So the first thing we have to understand is that there's certain valuable, and I just really feel this so strong because since I've last, and I'm going to share my testimony with you all. Mitch, you know it, and Chris knows it, but I'm going to share my testimony with you all so that you don't think that this stuff only happens, you know, to the commoners, if you were, and I'm talking to commoners in terms of, like this doesn't, what happens, it doesn't happen to top leadership and those who God has graced. No, I'm gonna share a testimony of what I've personally experienced here recently. But what I want you to understand is that you will never see, uh, you'll never see a commercial for a Rolls Royce. Neither will you see a commercial for a Bentley. You won't see a commercial for a McLaren. Why? Because the value that they have is only, watch this, it's only top tier. And so the only people that come after those cars are the ones who know that they can afford them. What am I saying? There's never any discounts or rebates because greatness never goes on sale. You will
Come
never
on.
find greatness in the bottom basements of life. Where there's much given, there's much required.
Much.
I went to the store, Mitch, some time ago, and I don't cook all that often, but I was, trying to do me a little cooking and try my hand at some Alfredo. And I was looking for some olive oil. I went to the area where the olive oil was, and I got the olive oil, and they didn't have an actual like tag on the shelf. They were doing a module reset. And so when I looked, I was like, I asked the guy at the store, I was like, hey man, can you tell me what the price of this oil is? So he used the Telzon little scanner to tell me what the price was. And I was like, thank you so much. And I think it might have been maybe $3. And I was walking to the register and getting ready to pull my card out, and pay for my little oil. And the Lord said, you know what? You really don't know the cost of that oil. So I'm like, no, the guy just told me it was $2 and some change, $3, whatever. He was like, in order for you to really know the cost of that oil, you don't need to ask the associate. You need to ask the olive that was crushed to produce it.
Mm.
But some of you all, nobody really knows the crushing that you've gone through. But I want you to understand that your oil has more value than those of the outsiders of what other people see. You have to know that this again is what we're going to experience this year. What year is this, Mitch?
7.
It's year 7. This year is going to be about the completion of a cycle and the perfecting. Before you leave, you're going to be perfected. There's going to be a perfect as we move from this year into next year. Once we leave this summit this year, last year. I believe I gave stones out. I believe I
Yes.
gave some
Yes.
stones out. Well, we didn't even realize that those stones would actually become weights
Mm.
because there was going to be things in life that sought to blow us completely out. There were going to be things that would try to blow us away from getting what we need when it comes down to this summit. We also didn't know that the rocks were going to be needed for us to stand up on when we felt like we were sinking. This year is going to be different. Why? Because this year God said, I need to make sure that you complete this cycle. You've gone through enough. We've experienced enough. But he said, I
Yes.
call your name. I called you. And he said, this time is going to be different. It won't stay like it started. This is the 9th month. Coincidentally, I am speaking to you on day 8 of the 9th month. This is not just, it ain't just something that was cute that we thought about. I haven't talked to Mitch about this or Chris or anybody else about this date. But today is the day when it starts,
Mm.
the new beginning. I need you to go back and hear me clearly, imagine. See, image is what we see. I need you to see this thing again. And I hope this wakes you up in your sleep. I want you to see yourself as being restored, see yourself as being revived, see yourself as being rejuvenated, see yourself as being resuscitated. The Bible says this that God Himself seeks to restore you. And again, I'm not going to talk much about it because I really want to leave a lot of this for the summit. It's going to be it's going to be a manifold experience. We've experienced some strong times in the past, but there's about to be something that God does. I'm telling you right now, it's about to be something that God does, and God shifted me into this vein. He shifted me into this vein right before I got on this call, Mitch. I just need you to get there. Do whatever you can to get there. Because a lot of you have been carrying around dead stuff for so long. And God's like, look, that stuff is expired. The reason why
Mm.
you're so worn out is because you're trying to carry dead weight. Dead weight will not, it will not be able to accompany you into the next dimension of new. Today is the day
No.
of a new beginning. This is the 8th day of the 9th month. There's a birthing taking place right now, and I need you to be sensitive to it. There's a new birth, a new birth, a newness that God is allowing, a refreshing. There's a wind blowing across this area, across the globe. Wherever and whoever's listening to this, I need you to be sensitive to this moment. Why? Because this is a moment. This is a God moment, a moment where time, season, and purpose come together. When those three come together, they produce twins called destiny and purpose. Go ahead, Mitch.
Listen, I'd be so blown every time you say something, um, because it just puts me in a perspective of not only what I have faced, because we tell those testimonies of what we've gone through,
Mhm.
and a lot of times people don't realize the push, the pressure, the for the purpose.
Yeah.
And even with us, sometimes we like, this kind of hard right here,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and then God said, I know I didn't put you in this position for you not to understand. And yesterday you spoke about the beating, how the
Mhm.
tambourines talk. One
Mhm.
of one of the instruments that my mom absolutely loved is a tambourine.
Mhm.
But what just like the movement, what you just said, in order for that tambourine to be utilized, it has to be beat.
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
of this is going through the restoration of, because when they're restoring something, they have to sometimes beat it
Yep.
to knock out all the dents and all
Mhm.
the things that they have endured, right?
Sure. Sure.
But that
Sure.
tambourine, when you broke it down to me, I ended up purchasing my mom another tambourine and sent it to the house for her, and I recorded you yesterday because I needed, sometimes you just like, okay, people just pick up a tambourine, you was like, it was never meant to be an instrument like that.
Mhm.
It was meant to
Yeah.
be beat to make a sound. So how your tambourine talk,
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
that was different, the response. Oh, because I'm
Mhm.
looking at my notes, the response of restoration
Mhm.
and how it had to carry praise, power. It was a
Mhm.
weapon.
Mhm.
Preserve being through power, praise for Thanksgiving, all these things that I'm looking at. And I just
Mhm.
imagine just the
Mhm.
beating
Mhm.
of going through restoration.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if you've ever taken the time to really look at a tambourine is made out of wood, and I really didn't get to get into the dynamics of a tambourine, in the actual manufacturing of tambourine. But a tambourine is made out of wood circle, right? That wood circle has scores in it, so it had to be cut, right? That's the area where the timbrels go. So it had to be cut. It had to be drilled into in order for those nails to go in so that the nails can hold those little small silver things that look like symbols, little miniature symbols, right? That tambourine is absolutely useless until two things happen. It has to be struck or beat. We call it playing a tambourine, but it was never meant to be played. It was meant to be struck. So the tambourine was meant to be beat, and then it was also meant to be shaken.
Come on.
Because when it is beaten and when it is shaken, that's when it releases a sound. Now, what I did not talk about was the actual skin on top of the tambourine. The skin on top of a tambourine comes from the hide of an animal. Not only did the tambourine get beaten, but the animal got branded. The branding of that animal gave it its identity. And some of us don't even realize it, but we are the direct response of being branded, something hot pressed into us. We screamed, we cried, we desired to run away, but we couldn't move. We wanted to throw in the towel and feel like it felt like we were nearest death. We were beaten, we were struck, we were hit by people and things that we've always been able to confide in. And nobody really knew. Nobody knew. Nobody knew how much our world was shaken. I went a little further, Mitch, after I got back home and I started looking up tambourines, and I saw some tambourines that actually had a busted head because they were beaten so bad that the head was busted. I started thinking back to years ago when I was a boy, people used to play the tambourines without the head. I'm going
Yes.
somewhere with this. I start thinking about how those tambourines without the head, how sometimes the little cymbals, the little silver things will fall out of them because they've been hit and that they've been beat and they've been played and however you want to call it, shooken so much. But God says, in spite of all of that, that tambourine still had useful value. And watch this, as long as the structure of the tambourine stayed in place, you can always get another head to replace it, and you could always get the symbols to go inside of it. I want you all to do me a huge favor and stop crying over things that you lost.
Hmm.
Stop crying over people that have now expired. Expired milk is only good for one thing. It's good for some cornbread, or it's good to be taken out of the closet. Sometimes what was good for you at one space in your life becomes a hindrance for you in the new place of your life. Why? Because it's expired. We have to learn how to appreciate. We're talking about the journey to, right? The road to restoration.
Restoration.
Well, guess what? When we think in terms of the road to restoration, right? You have to also consider that some things and some people and some relationships and some connections and some clients were only bridges.
Come on.
You can't stay on the bridge. No, you can't stay on the bridge. Why? Because a bridge is not strong enough to hold a house. So you only use a bridge to cross over. You don't burn it unless you have no need to return, right? Unless that bridge connects you to the wrong thing. In that case, burn it, blow that booger up. But my point is, you have to understand and appreciate bridges. And for some of us, we're trying to overstay our welcome in an area that was only meant to connect us to something that connects us from our now to our next. And so you can't become stagnant in a place that's not strong enough to hold you. Meaning in relationships. Sometimes we try to build partnerships with people. Why are you trying to force fit something or someone that it ain't working? It worked then, but it's not working now.
No.
Watch this. And before this summit is over, watch this, you're going to learn how to be good when people come in and out of your life. Because
Mm.
sometimes we hold on to things and people that, again, we were only meant to help them for so long. And after a certain period of time, you got to let them go. If you don't, you're going to end up with a wound that you should have never received. Some of the hurt that we've received, some of the obstacles that we've endured, we brought on ourselves because we tried to hold on to things, people, and patterns and thoughts and processes that were expired. They were good for then, but they're not good for now. And you can't, it shouldn't mean that you have to fall out. Oh, we're going to talk about this. I can't wait to get this. It don't mean that you have to fall out. Nope. Some stuff you just got to learn how to kiss goodbye. Ain't no hard feelings, ain't no harm, ain't no foul. It was good while it lasted. But guess what? You move on, I move on, we good. I need us to understand that when it comes down to this whole fuel thing, I'm gonna talk
Hmm.
about this oil for a quick second. You can't put 87 octane in your tank. I know we want to take the cheap route.
Woo!
You can't put
Mm.
that 87 octane in your tank and it requires 93. Come on.
Cannot.
What am I saying? I'm saying that you have to know what it takes. There's no cheap route or cheap way to success.
Come on.
It's not. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the time. You got to keep showing up every single day. That's what this is all about. That's what this journey is all about. Go ahead, Mitch.
I love it because the fact that one thing you say is you start off here, but that's not where you're going to stay at.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
And when you think about that road to restoration, it starts off at a starting point,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not staying there.
Yep.
You got a journey. You
Yep.
have to have some movement.
Yep.
You have to
Absolutely.
have that oil put in you and
Mm-hmm.
refill yourself up. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why being around the right people. That's why I love for you to come every year. And I love taking so many notes. Like this is just one of the many books I have from all the things that you said. Because not only are you a teacher, you put back into perspective the things that I may be going through or someone else is going through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you talked about God deserves complete honor,
Mm-hmm.
giving him back what he deserved. And I think that's where we are not going up into the restoration, saying, okay, God, I'm going through this. But God said, I deserve a praise
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
this. Like you said, in the
Yeah.
middle, when you said the part in the Red Sea, in the middle,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
praise him
Yeah.
and be around the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And letting go does not feel good. That's why I love the release, because God gave us the name release, because that's what people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're releasing it and not bringing it back anymore
Yes.
with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And when you
Absolutely.
talked about making an announcement, you was like, I got some news, you know? And that's what it
Mm-hmm.
was like. I got something to say. So
Mm-hmm.
I just kept saying it all yesterday. I got something to say.
Yep.
And that's letting God know that in this time of the 9th month, you talked about the birthing place.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about how it does not feel good, but it's good for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Restoration being beat doesn't feel good.
No,
It's
not at
not
all.
feeling good at all, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But when it's all said and done, it is good for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talk about
Yeah.
that for a minute.
So,
Somebody says they say you are all in my life right now.
oh
Exactly.
Lord. So here's another I like to call these takeaways. Everything that is good for you doesn't feel good to you. I'll say that again. Everything that is good for you doesn't feel good to you. Um, when I was a boy, I would have to go get an examination every year, and I still do get my physical examinations, but at that time, I would have to get these immunizations, and they have to. I couldn't stand going to the doctor because it seemed like it was always going to be something painful that I had to go through. Like you can't go to the doctor and just have a normal
Right.
visit where they just give you a lollipop and you're good, right? Um, but the more I matured, the more I learned an invaluable lesson, and that is faith is never tested when things are fine. Faith is tested
Hmm.
when you're going through the academy of affliction.
That's good.
Whenever we experience, these moments when we're beaten and when we're experiencing these times of brokenness, we have to know what we need to do with that. And I think that becomes a real challenge with us because we don't know um, what to do when we're dealing with these with these seasons of brokenness. But I want you to know that there's certain things that God will allow to break your heart, to break your trust. I'm going somewhere with this. He will allow this thing to break. He will allow things to break you in ways that you never thought you'd be broken. But I want you to, y'all help me get this out for everybody that's listening. It may have broken your heart, but it's going to correct your vision.
Mm.
Say this again. It might have broke your heart, but it's going to correct your vision.
Oh, Jesus.
And when your vision is corrected, it's going to create a hunger for something far greater than you ever received before. There will be a rise in those who are the called to God's purpose. Let me also say something. And there's also going to be an exposure to those people and things and concepts who are fraudulent in your life. Now, I'm not saying they're going to leave your life, but God said you're going to be able to see them the right way. Because every Jesus, I'm going to say this, every Jesus representative on this live, you're going to have some Judas representatives.
Oh, yes.
And but the good thing about having Judas in the audience, and I say this, I've said this several times, is that Judas can only sit where he is assigned to sit.
Assigned seat.
Yeah, yeah. God told Judas, you sit here because I'm gonna let Jesus see you the right way. What did God tell Jesus? He says, be weary. I want you to be watchful, rather, of the one who kisses you on the cheek and
Mm.
sops. He said, you're gonna know who Judas is, and you're gonna tell Judas, hey, whatever you're gonna do, let's go. What's taking you so long? Hurry up and do it. Because everything that you do to me, you might do it to me, but it's gonna work for me. What am I saying? I gotta back it up with scripture, Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God and to those who are the called according to his purpose. I'm gonna share something else with you, Mitch. What God is going to do is this year there will be a restoration, a refilling, refill, FILLING, because too many of us have been refilling, FEELING. Your
Mm.
feelings have got in the way of your feel. So God has no space to pour. You got to get the junk out you got to get that trash out of your tank because you become filled, FILLED, with what you feel, FEEL. God said, I've got to clear your feelings out, FEELINGS, so that I can fill you with the right thing.
Come on.
So you can't let your feelings get in the way of your feeling. I'm going to say that again. You can't let your feelings get in the way of your feeling. You got to have the right kind of fuel. You got to have the right
Mm.
kind of fuel. What am I saying? Some of us have been trying to put the wrong kind of gas in our tank, thinking that's going to take us to our. Nope. You will not be able to perform at the level that the manufacturer, who is that God, you will not be able to perform at the expectation of the manufacturer because you're full of your feelings. God
Come
said, I
on.
need you to move that out the way. We got to get that out that tank. We got to get that out the tank because if it's in the tank, that's going to get in the way of what I want to put in you. So we've talked about it for the number of years, and God allowed me to connect the dots from year
Yes.
1 to year 7. Because again, in order for us to complete it, we got to experience everything again. That's what
Yes.
re means. Re means again. So
Again.
we're going to start from year 1 and we're going to work to year 7. And by the time we're done, all we will be able to say is that we've been with God and that it was good for us that we come together because this is the place this month. We talked about it being the birthing month. This is the month when you're going to birth it. Whatever your it is, you're going to birth it. We're going to be there together. It's going to be a sterile atmosphere. Only the right ones are going to be there. And you need, if you're listening to me right now, whether it's now or in the future or wherever, get to the summit. Do whatever you have to do. Seek out ways to figure this thing out. I say this just about every year. Sell sweet potato pies,
Yeah.
potato
Yeah.
salad, fried fish, whatever you need to do. Come on, y'all. To get there, I need you to get there because I have been, and you all, for anybody that knows me or that has experienced me when it comes down to these summits, I've been tasked by God to give a different kind of pour this year.
Mm.
Listen to me, I'm going into a season of consecration not for any of the other churches that I cover. I'm going into a season of consecration. God called me to this because he called me to pour into you. And there will be restoration, complete. Let me put that word on there, restoration.
Come on.
And you're going to be able to walk away and you're going to be able to say, wow, I can actually feel this weight that was lifted from off of me. I can feel that, you know what, it was a tough time to get here. But because I'm here, I can now say that I know who I am. I know what I'm called to do. I know what I'm gifted to do, and I know what I'm graced to be. It's going to be a good journey.
It's gonna be
It's
a
going to be a
good
good
one.
journey. It's going to be a good journey.
They
It's
had
going to
a
be a good journey.
question up there about Job,
Yeah.
the posture of Job,
Hmm.
and I want Chris to put that question back up there again, because the posture that Job was put in and the position that Job, um, and I told you I felt like I was on that Job walk, and what I had to realize is I did not really look into Job until I was
Hmm.
moving my Bible one night and I was coming here getting ready to do meditation, and it ended up on Job,
Hmm.
but I actually started reading it.
Hmm.
So God had to show me, like, okay, all the things that you're going through,
Hmm.
I sent, I,
Hmm.
I sent that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what can we learn from Job's posture that helps face today's losses and delays?
Oh, wow. There's so much that we could learn. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to touch on a couple of them as it pertains to Job. One of the things that we can learn from Job's posture is that number one, Job knew who he was. His identity was not tied in his stuff. I'm going to say that. His identity was not tied in or to his stuff. So
Mm,
can I give like maybe 4 points, Mitch, real quick to answer this
yes,
question? Okay, so number one, what can we learn? And I'm not sure who asked that, but that's a monster question. I love it. What can we learn from Job's posture that helps us face? I believe it was today's losses, right? Is that
and delays. Mhm.
and delay? Okay, perfect. So losses and delays. So the first thing that we can learn as we're running this road of restoration is we have to understand how it all unfolds. The road to restoration begins with surrenderance. What am I? I'm gonna help you. Job didn't sugarcoat his pain. He admitted that he had grief. He admitted that he was confused. He even admitted that he was frustrated with God without disrespecting God. Y'all with me? But in that moment, he made a decision. So even though we're in a position of surrenderance, that is the posture that Job was in, he was in a posture of surrenderance. Job understood that even though I'm in a position of surrenderance, I have to make a decision. What decision did he make? Even if God allows me to be crushed, I'm going to still trust him. Though he slays me, that's the Bible,
Yes,
yet will I trust him. Whenever we position ourselves um, and dealing with, as we're on the road to restoration, right? Restoration starts when we surrender our outcomes to God's sovereignty. I'm going to say that again. When we surrender our outcomes, all of us look at that bottom line. Come on, y'all, talk to me about the profit. I'm not
yeah,
talking about the profit in terms of the person, but that number,
right.
that bottom line
Yes,
number, right?
yes,
That money that we desire to make. When we look at that number, right? That number will shake you up if it's not right. If it's anywhere near the red, it's like, oh my God, what we gonna do? Right? Come on. But when you
yes,
surrender the outcome to God's sovereignty, you understand that faith is not tested when things make sense. No, y'all looking for this stuff to make sense. And I get it. I'm a numbers dude. I crunch numbers. But that's not faith. Faith has to do with what you expect and what you watch this. Faith has to do, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Faith has more to do with what you expect than you inspect. I'm gonna say that again.
mm.
I'm gonna say that again. I don't know, Mitch. God just dropped this one on me. Faith has more to do with what you expect
Oh, come on.
than what you inspect. Why? Because sometimes what we inspect, according to our inventory and according to our gains and according to our losses, that goes completely contrary to what God said. But when we expect God to come through for us, Expectation becomes the birthing ground for the miraculous. I'm going to say that again. Expectation becomes the birthing realm for the miraculous. So again, number one, the posture of Job. Job was in a posture of surrenderance. Number two, Job walked with endurance. Job endured the loss of wealth. He endured the loss of health. He endured the loss of family, yet he refused to curse God.
Mm-hmm.
He trusted God in all of his losses, right? And he, watch this, he yet maintained, here's where I want to go, his integrity.
His integrity.
Endurance and faith positions us for the restoration of God's promise. I'm gonna say that again. I'm feeding off of this question, Mitch. I really am. Endurance and faith positions us for the restoration of God's promise. So again, point number one, what postures us? What can we talk about regarding the posture? And what gives us that place where we're able to understand today's losses and today's delays? It begins with surrenderance. Admit, don't lie about what you feel. Be completely honest and transparent. Tell God exactly what's going on because God knows all your business anyway. He just wants to
You
see if
know
you're
it.
going to be willing to say, hey, look, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And if you don't help me, I'm going to stay here. So step number one is you got to surrender. Step number two, you got to endure.
Endure.
You're going to have those losses, but you got to be endured, right? You got to walk while you are enduring. Step number three, you have to trust God beyond understanding. Trust God beyond understanding. Job didn't recognize that his perspective of God was limited. I'm going to say that again. Job didn't realize that his perspective of God was limited. But God showed him, he's like, you wasn't even around, Job, when I did what I did, bro. So let me help you understand. My wisdom is not limited to your loss.
Come on.
I'm going to say this again. God's wisdom is not limited to your loss. Trusting God means, watch this. Trusting God means resting in who God is and not what you have. Come here. Come here. Come here. Trusting God means resting in the
Ooh.
truth of who he is, not what you gonna do. You got to be able to trust God and rest in the truth of who he is, not what you have.
Hmm.
If you trust in what you have, you're gonna always find that there's gonna be lack. Last thing, I'm gonna try to be done with this. If we're able to endure, if we're able to surrender, if we're able to endure, if we're able to trust God beyond understanding, then what happens as a direct result? God restores in the end what was lost in the beginning.
Mm.
So we get the river. Watch this. We get two things. We get the revelation and we get the reward. If you don't, listen to me good. If you don't give up in the wait, what are you talking about, Pastor Major? I'm dealing with this. I've been dealing with this for some years now. They that wait upon the Lord,
Shall renew strength.
God's going to renew your strength, right? Job said, I've heard you with my ear. Y'all want the reference for that? Check out Job whenever y'all can. Y'all think I'm playing around. Check out Job 42:5.
Mm.
Job said, I heard you with my ear, but now I can see what you're saying with my own eyes. God's going to reveal the reward to you. But you got to watch this. If God can trust you with step 1, 2, and 3, he said, when it comes down to this fourth step, I'm going to reveal to you why you had to wait. I'm going to reveal to you why you had to suffer. You're not just going to hear about it. I'm going to go somewhere in a second. You're not just going to hear about it, but you're going to be able to see it with your own eyes. Restoration was not just about doubling Job's possession. Restoration was about Job being able to understand deeper the revelation of who God is. Job's trust led him to a greater intimacy with God and a greater increase. Not only are you just going to have increase, but you're going to have greater intimacy. True relationship is not just about what you get back anyway. It's about how your faith and your relationship was able to grow through the process of what you went through. I want y'all to help me get this out. You are going to grow through everything that you had to go through. I'm going to say that again. You are going to grow through everything that you had to go through. You're going to strive, or rather, you're going to thrive. Let me correct that. You are going to thrive while you strive. Every step in the right direction is a step towards growth. There's some people who had to take, there's some people who do a privilege to take the escalator and the elevator to the next level. But God said the majority of the people, 99% of the people that don't hear this, you didn't take the elevator, you didn't take the escalator. You had to walk up the stairs. And the reason why you had to do it is because you're not just doing this for you. It's bigger than you.
Come on.
God said, I allowed you to walk the steps and feel the stress and feel the pressure and understand the altitude and how air and oxygen gets thin when you go higher and how it can be a lonely place. But God said, I allowed you to do that because you are a part, watch this, you are a part of a destiny that goes beyond you. You are a part of a miracle that is not just for you, it's generational. You're going to have to pass this thing out. You're going to have to pass it on. But God says, I chose you. The same way I called on Brother Job. I chose you because I knew that I had, watch this, I had a word over your life. And no matter what I put on you, though you tried, Job said this. Job said, God knows the way that I take.
Yeah.
Y'all check it out whenever you can. But when I'm tried, guess what? I'm going to come out as pure gold. And so I don't care what you're dealing with watch me, from the start to the middle. I don't care what you're dealing with. Get to this summit. Let's all come out together. Let's have a time wherein we are, watch this. We've been submerged under the pressure. That's what happens in the womb. A baby is submerged in a water sack. But there comes time for the baby to be birthed. When does it happen? In the 9th month. There's about to be a crowning where you're able to see. I just showed you. Job was able to see it. Job said, man, I see this. I heard what you said, but now I can see it with my eyes. God says, get to the summit. You're going to be able to see it. You're going to be able to see it. Several of us feel like we're no longer God's choice. And I'm going to share some more with that, as it pertains to the summit when we get there. But God said, you're still my choice. I haven't changed my mind about you. I'm looking for you. You're not in the place where I need you, but I need you. I need you to get back in position. I need you to stay postured. It's going to be some delays and some losses, but just stay where you're supposed to be. I'll make sure I make it up to you. And I'm going to give you some retroactive pay. Go ahead, Mitch.
Listen, we need a little commercial because I gotta put my head back on right because it's blowed up. Y'all stay tuned. We are definitely going to have a commercial right here to get y'all reset back. Okay. Regroup tours are happening and they're coming to a city near you. If you would like to be a part of our premium network and educational event, just giving you a little taste, a little sprinkle about what Impulse is going to be bringing to you in September, then look for this. You can simply buy tickets on impulsesummit.com, or again, they're on stanstore/Impulse Summit.
7 years ago, we made room. Then came the victory. Now it's time to restore. Charlotte, North Carolina, September 27th through the 29th. Prepare to rebuild, revive, and restore everything the locusts have eaten, as promised in Joel 2:25. This is more than a beauty summit. It's a transformation spiritually, personally, and professionally. Find your tribe and reconnect to a new life source for your beauty profession. Bring your spouse, because we're restoring the entire family. Men, experience the powerful Men on Pause gathering, and women, embrace your journey. And together, we unite in spiritual gatherings like Sunday Pulse and The Release. Elevate your experience with our signature VIP pass, where the entire weekend has your name written all over it. Literally, Mpulse Summit 2025, Charlotte, North Carolina. Register now for the Mpulse Summit Restore 2025, impulsesummit.com. Register now for the Mpulse Summit Restore 2025, impulsesummit.com.
So listen, I wanted to walk in the room just so you could see what it feels like to be in the room. Restore 2025 Mpulse Summit is going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it is an event that you just cannot afford to miss. I want to personally invite Charlotte and surrounding areas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta, any place from all over. If you say you are in a beauty burnout, if you say you are tired and confused, if you say you want to give up, then do this. Be in the room, so that you will have no choice but to be around like-minded individuals that can pull you out of that bitterness, that can pull you out of that want to give up, that can pull you out of that confusion. So if that's you that I'm talking to, then come on and join us. $2.99. You can find that ticket at stand.store/Mpulse Summit. We want you to be a part of the family. We want you to be in the room. So I'm looking at my notes, and I don't want to hold you much longer. You know, I can listen to you all night and just take notes. So I know you got tired. You're like, okay, I got to minister on Thursday. I want y'all to know that Pastor Major Jones has been our overseer for all 7 years, and he's not going anywhere. So I'm gonna tell you, he has to throw me away. He has to do that bridge, and I'm still gonna
Nah. I'm here, Rich. I'm here.
But if you know him, you know for a fact that he is going to bring a word. So this Thursday, you're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, ministering at a church in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if you are there in the surrounding areas and you want to hear more from Pastor before the summit, join him at this church that's going to be in Charlotte. What's the name of the church, Pastor?
Actually, it's going to be Mitch. So it's going to be Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Okay.
Yeah, Sunday morning at 10.
Okay.
But it's called Kingdom Builders International. Not that far away from John P. Key's church. So it'll be there in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll be ministering Sunday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. at Kingdom Builders International. But I'll be there. That's the name of the church, Kingdom Builders International.
Yes,
the pastor's name is pastor's name is Pastor Darrell Grant.
I'm excited for that. I'm trying to see if I can get me a ticket real quick. But you definitely will see him September the 26th. I'm going to say that. Pastor's coming up early. September the 26th through the 30th. He's going to be there the whole weekend covering the building, covering everybody. One of the things I know for a fact, he's one of the most humblest individuals I know, far as taking the time to pull aside, to pray, to prophesize, to just pull on you and to pour into you. That's I know for a fact. This is Joel 2:25. It is time for restoration, to rebuild, revive, and reset. I'm just go ahead and say reset and restore. September the 27th through the 29th. You have already seen a taste of what he's going to bring. Those who have experienced him in the past know he is the truth, and he is talking and speaking a word. And I don't bring anyone that I don't believe in, that I don't trust in, that I don't know is going to bring that pouring spirit back into you and back into all of us, because I'm sitting there as a student as well. I'll be in church. When he's in church, I'm in church. You know what I'm saying? At the summit. So this is where you're definitely going to see him. He is our overseer, which is a heavy weight on him, because of the connection and because of the testimonies that he has actually gone through the fire. He's gone through the endurance. He's gone through the breakdown to be built back up. This is something that he has definitely talked about. And a lot of times, like you said, people don't think that leaders go through it, but you go through it because of that. And faith can be tested, and faith can be, set up, and you're still saying, no, I trust God through it all. There's somebody out there right now that don't think that anyone go through. What would you say to them, Pastor, that just sitting there and saying, I'm the only one that's going through what I'm going through right now?
Really simple, Mitch. I'll say what I've been saying to myself. God's restorative power. When God's restorative power is on your life, nothing is wasted. He doesn't desire that you waste anything, right? So you have to make a declaration to your life, into your life. You have to become the steward of your life, of your time, of your mind, and of your space. I'm gonna say that again. You have to become the steward of your life, your time, your mind, and your space. So what my daily declaration has been: no more wasted time, no more stolen years, no more, watch this, no more wasted relationships, health, or or resources in my life. And so when I get up and say that, right, what I do is I put a demand on my day. And I say to God, if there is something that's broken, if there is something that's lost, if there is something that seems like it's been wasted or stolen, it becomes his responsibility to make sure that he steps up to my declaration. Why? Because I'm only reminding him of what his word said. And when he is not, watch this, when he won't move according to anything else, he'll move according to what he said. So he said he will restore and rebuild the broken areas of my life, because he cares much about the remnants and the fragments as he does the whole pieces, right? If Jesus took five fish, five loaves of bread and two little fish, two fish and five loaves, if he did that, and watch what he did, he broke it, blessed it, and he allowed the broken pieces. We talk about, watch this, we talk about the two fish and the five loaves of bread, but we don't even talk about how God told the disciples, make sure you gather up the fragments, which were the broken pieces that were left over. So what does that mean? It means that after everything else I've experienced in my life, God still has use for the leftovers. And nothing that is left over is going to be wasted. Nothing that is left over is going to be lost. God needs everything that I've experienced. And what that means is whenever God restores me, God's restoration is my guarantee, and I don't have to focus on my possibility. If he can raise the dead, he can restore my life. If he can, watch this, if I lost time, he can redeem my time, right? Restoration means that I'm able to come back stronger than stronger than the season that I lost in.
Come on.
When I'm restored, that means that my breakdown actually becomes breakthrough. When watch this, when I'm restored, it's not just about recovering, but it's about recovering, recuperating, and resuscitating. So even in the seasons where, and again, I feel like, man, this has been a tough season. Nope. It might be tough, but it was exactly what God had in mind for me. And because I'm moving to the pulse of God's beat, we talk about this as impulse, right? When we start moving to the pulse of God's beat, we march off of the map of the mundane and the mediocre, and we step into uncharted territories. And the only way sometimes God has to allow us to do that is he has to allow something to shake us. We talked about the beating and the shaking. He has to shake something so that we don't have the footing that we thought we had, right? But again, when you are creative, you don't have to try to figure that. No, you find a way to make it work, because that's what you've been graced to do. And so again, I want to encourage you all to understand that when you understand that you've been chosen by God as I'm gonna say this, as a model, as a model, a person that God wants to show off, you got to get your boots I'm not just talking about boots on the ground either. I'm talking about your war boots on. Come on. Where them
Yes.
fans at? No, I ain't just talking about that.
Right.
No, I'm talking about really put your war boots on. And I mean, I know it's a little humor in that, but I really mean it because you have to know that this is not going to be an easy task, neither is it going to be an easy journey. But you have to ask yourself, where do I go to get the strength that I need when I'm the leader, when I'm weak? Where do I go to get that strength?
Come on.
God will always set up filling stations. That's what we used to call them when I was a boy. Gas
Yes.
stations. Y'all know what gas stations are. I'm gonna date myself.
Yep.
Gas stations, right? But filling stations were not for cars that had everything that they needed. Filling stations were for people who lost some things along the way.
Come on.
You come to the filling station or the gas station so that you can get refilled. So you can get some more, watch this, so you can get some more fuel in your tank because you know that this is not the end of your journey. I'm gonna speak this into the life of somebody right now. I know you feel like this is the end, but I need you to disengage your feelings for a moment. This is not the end of your journey. Some of you you're searching for other areas to move into. You're trying to figure out. Okay, some of y'all have even gone. I'm going somewhere, Mitch. I hope it's all right. Some of you have even gone on other interviews because you're ready to wash. You're ready to put all this stuff behind you. You're like, oh, this is just a bad time in my life. No, don't give up on this just yet. Don't walk away just yet. Listen to me real good. Don't you put this thing away just yet. No, no. No, this is not the end. It's not the end. You have to know that sometimes God puts you on display, but he
Yeah.
desires that you be a display for his deliverance. God uses us, and I'm gonna share some things that happened to me at this summit since I've been with you all. But I need you to know that God is not done with you yet. God's not done. This is not the point for you to stop. This ain't the point for you to, no, this ain't it. No, it might come, but this not right now. Oh no, no.
Mm-mm.
This is not it. No. You can't stop short of God's expectation. I'm gonna say that
That's
again.
it.
You can't stop short of what God expects of you. He's got an expected end, and you're trying to stop midpoint. No, no,
Right.
no,
Right.
no. Absolutely not. My job is to cover you. But one of the things that I'm telling you right now, so if you can't sleep at night, just know I'm praying that you get back on the path. You can't stop short. And my prayer is that God would allow, I'm going to say this, that God would allow every wrong door to close so that you understand the power of walking through the right door. You don't just need a door to open for you. You need the door to open for you. Walk in the door. I can't wait to see your face walking in the door. I can't wait to see you walking in the Impulse Summit because you're going to get a deposit. You're going to get a feel. God's going to fill you up because there's more for your journey.
I love it. No, but Chris, I always say there's a question that we always ask at the end. This year at Impulse Summit Restore, God will, if you finish the sentence, Pastor.
Restore.
This is Pastor Major Jones, Life Point Church right here in Tampa, Florida. Listen, one of the most powerful men of God I know. Y'all look forward to see him. Sunday, he's going to be in Charlotte. He's going to be there September 27th through the 29th. Y'all bringing a word to us. You know, this is what I always say. I love you. I love you. I love you. And there is absolutely nothing you or you can do about it. You have an amazing day on purpose.
Lord have mercy. The whistle got them back. Live in the building. Yeah. I dance on my damn self. You ready? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Hit me one time.